All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here with Tim Boris, CEO of Fresh Fitness and author of The Fitness Curveball, which you can't really see on the screen there that well, but it's outstanding. I was actually following you on Facebook with the whole launch of this.
Is this yours?
It is.
Okay.
So great job of doing that, and welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for being
So honored
here.
to be here. Yes, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
So Tim, tell us a little bit about your background in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah, I've been in the industry about 25 years, a bit over that. Started working with elite athletes in Vancouver. Got into trying to make ends meet after being a starving athlete and going into the fitness industry, working with regular general population people. So transitioning from elite athletes to general population was a challenge psychologically and really made me think a lot about stuff that eventually ended up in the book. And you had asked me before what the Fitness Curveball was.
Yeah.
That was the concept that came out of going from athletes to general population. And athletes, you don't have to motivate to get to the gym. They're just there. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's their job.
Yeah.
It's their job, right? Like, you better be there.
Exactly. And they don't tend to do it for the long term if they don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
When I started working with general population, people were like, I hate the gym.
Totally.
I don't want to go to the gym. And they have other things going on in their life that make it more challenging to get to the gym. And so when I started working with general population, I realized that people came to a personal trainer to get fit and lose weight, two most common goals that people have. Yet that's not often the thing that they need to actually get the results they want.
Oh, interesting.
So the Fitness Curveball came about because people are like, I want to get in shape and lose weight. And I'll say, well, you know you need to exercise and eat well, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, so why aren't you doing it? And then they'd be like, well, work and this and time and money, I can't afford to go to the gym. And so we started looking at all the other factors and realized that there are really 4 pillars that you have to master. One is mindset, movement, habits, and fuel.
Nice.
And the mindset and the habits are the most important thing that most people don't have.
Interesting.
Yet they want the movement and the fuel or the fitness and the nutrition.
Yeah, it's always say it's fitness and nutrition.
Yeah, and that's not it. Once you get the mindset and the habits in the right spot, fitness and nutrition become easy.
Interesting.
So that's what it took me a lot of years to figure that out. And I'd be like, I'm giving them the best workouts, but they're still not getting the results they want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had probably a 1.5-year stint of actually doing training with my days at Fitter, and I just wanted to blow my brains out because I was just like, here's your program, go at it, see you in a month. And you see them in a month and you're like, how'd it go? And they're like, oh, well, and you're like, oh God, what the heck happened?
Yeah. Oh, I got busy, or work got busy, or
absolutely
family commitments, and there are always things.
So on that note, we keep talking about work and commitments and professionals. So what specifically, as far as the working people go, is their biggest hurdle?
Yeah, 95% of our client base, we're right downtown, so we're downtown corporate professionals, and stress levels are high. Time is at a premium.
Time is at a premium, absolutely.
Yeah, whether you have a family or just lots of work. Lots of lawyers, engineers, business owners that are go, go, go all the time, and they start to neglect their health. And there's that saying that people spend the first half of the years half of their life sacrificing their health to gain wealth, and the last half of their life spending their wealth to regain their health.
Oh, interesting. It's so true.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And our goal is to try and help people realize that you can actually do both. You can be healthy and wealthy. It's just making a few small shifts in the mindset and the habits.
So you talked to us about the fitness curveball being a concept, but you also have some other different things that you talk about in the book.
Yeah.
We have this one, you say the other 165-hour rule. What is that?
That came about from working with switching from athletes to general population, and I realized that I'd see the average client about 3 hours a week.
Okay.
And there are 168 hours in the week, so that means there were the other 165 hours I wasn't with them.
Oh, got it.
And
okay.
I realized that unless I made it my goal in those 3 hours to change the other 165, they would never get the results.
Right.
So I could give them the best workout in the world, make sure it was like the most scientifically designed and the coolest things, and they were awesome, and they'd get stronger. If they left the session and went to McDonald's and stayed up till 3 in the morning and were super stressed out and didn't do any of the other things that they need to do, then they wouldn't get the results. And so that switch in my mind was when I went from a personal trainer to a coach.
Ah,
Yeah.
got
Because
it.
I realized that I had to help them transition those under 165 hours. Whereas athletes do that. That's what they live their sport. They live training.
But, and let's not forget, athletes also have a coach. It's like
Exactly.
they have that
Yeah.
person that's going in. They do have, I mean, especially at the elite levels, they do have their trainers and stuff that are there, and that coach is always taking them through, and they got their peer circle and everything. So
Yeah.
everything's stacked in their favor, except that they've got to put the hard work, they got to put the grind in. But us, as general population, we have stuff stacked against our favor. I mean, our friends are asking us and saying to us, hey, beer and wings tonight.
Yeah.
And, we have our family who's like, oh, well, we've got to spend some time with the kids, and let's not, and then often that doesn't mean we're going to do healthy stuff. We're going to do something different. We're going to go to the arcade, or we're going to go different things. And I got to give you a big compliment. I know that your wife, Crick, and 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
And your 2 kids, watching them on Facebook is just, makes me want to be a better person, because you're mountain biking, you're up doing your thing, and it's incredible to see. So you actually live it as well.
Yeah, well, and I think that makes a lot of sense too, because, we've chatted about this a lot, but you can choose to surround yourselves with people who want to go for wings when you hang out with them.
Yeah.
And you can choose to hang out with people who want to do different activities. And there's many good people in the world. I mean, the best case scenario is to just convince the people that want to go have chicken wings all of the time to not do that, because they're still your friends.
Let's go for a hike, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, like if that's your circle of influence, obviously that's what you're spending that limited amount of free time you have doing is. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. So from the coaching perspective, the next thing obviously has a lot to do with motivation and those other 165 hours.
Yeah.
So speak to motivation, and to kind of everybody online watching, just because we want to make sure that they have some direct takeaways. When you're chatting with your clients about motivation, and obviously, like, my assumption would be, you see all of these people, or many people who just want that quick fix, right? Like they're doing the 2-month diet or the 8-week boot camp or the whatever, right? Which that's not building a fitness lifestyle at all. It's something where we're going to try and get a dramatic result by doing this.
Yeah.
So from the motivation standpoint, for the other 165 hours forever, what are you telling people, and what would you tell people watching online?
What you were just saying about the motivation, but also the lifestyle, going out with your friends for wings, that's why the first pillar in the book is mindset. It's the most important pillar, because until you get that switched in the right spot, everything becomes a challenge.
Right.
If you're the person who goes out for beer and wings 3-4 nights a week with friends, you might enjoy it, it'd be awesome. But if you're trying to resolve that with, I'm going to go to the gym and get up at 6 in the morning and go exercise, and you don't see yourself as that person who gets up and is healthy, everything will be a struggle. That's why so many New Year's resolutions fail.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Until you start to realize that, hey, you know what? Maybe I enjoy going out with those people, but I'm not going to have 100 chicken wings and 6 pints of beer each night I go out.
Yeah.
I might go for 1 pint of beer, or maybe have a couple chicken wings, but until that's okay and that's who you are and what you do, everything's going to be a struggle. And so we walk through that in the book, and how to set and shift that mindset for yourself.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I try and visualize what something like that would mean to me, and it's, you are the type of person that likes X, or you are the type of person who does this, and if you don't feel like you're that type of person, then you have to convince yourself into it, and convincing yourself is a lot harder than if you have an internal belief.
Yeah.
Part of your identity.
I had heard a great way to explain stress, and I use it in some of my presentations, is the stress is the amount of stress you experience is related to how far you are from your ideal. What you think in your mind is your ideal. So if you think you're the person that goes out for beer and wings, you're not feeling stress about that. It's when you try and go to the gym, then you feel stress.
Oh, interesting.
If your mindset shifts to you're the person that does this, if you go back to doing that, now you feel stress.
That's totally why, not the chicken wings thing. But that makes so much sense. That's totally why I get stressed out.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, it's a lot of expectations, right? If your expectations of what you think is supposed to happen doesn't happen, you have this gap of trying to mitigate that, and that's really stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's clever. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot too.
Tell us about, you talk about the movement spectrum.
Yeah.
What is it, harnessing it? How do you do that? Or
Yeah.
what is it? Start with that.
So once you're walking through the pillars, we've gone through mindset and setting the habits. Then we've got those things we want to get you moving. Most people are like, great, I'm going to hit the gym, and they like, that becomes a bit more of a stress because it's like, oh, I got to take time out of my day to go to the gym. And what we realize is that there's this thing called the movement spectrum. Basic movement, just taking every joint in your body through its full range of motion, a little mobility in the morning. Some people will call it stretching. Great, you can do that. That's the basic fundamental thing. The human body was meant to move. Mm-hmm. After that, you've got activity, which is activities of daily living. We have to, brush our teeth and walk down a flight of stairs to go to the kitchen, or walk down the hall to work or something like that. The gardening, typical things like housework are activities. In a modern world, we don't do as much of that anymore.
Right.
Then we've got exercise, which is basically just activity at a higher intensity level. Mm-hmm. So if we normally walk to work, walk faster. All of a sudden, if your heart rate gets up, then hey, we'll call that exercise. Those first three are the foundational things. 80% or more of the health benefits that people get come from those first three.
Interesting. Because that fills up their 165 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The time that people spend in the gym is helpful, and it's great to do, but you can never step foot in a gym in your life if you move well, you're active, and you do a little bit of exercise where your heart rate gets up a few times a week. Doesn't matter what that does. Your heart doesn't care why it beats, it just has to beat based on demand that you place on it. So those things can be done anywhere. But most people approach it from the fitness side, which is the next step, and then the performance side. So you get people that don't move, they're not active, and they don't really exercise that much, and then they go, I need to go to the gym and jump into a CrossFit class.
Yeah, totally. The trainers train them like they're going for performance, like they're going to be these elite athletes. And you're like, you kidding me?
And they wonder why they struggle or they get injured. They've been sitting all day at a desk, their body is not mobile, and then they just go and it's like beating it into a wall. And that's one of the struggles that people face. And one other reason it's called the Fitness Curveball is because people think they need fitness, but they need all those other things first.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was sitting in a group with some of our realtors have these kind of like strategy or mentorship groups where they get together, every now and then, and they talk about real estate related topics. And one of them was mentioning that every time she has an open house, she will personally go and deliver 100 flyers kind of around the radius. And somebody's like, wow, like, isn't that a lot of work? And she's like, honestly, it's hard for me to find time in my day to do something like that. And she's like, and I'm on my feet for an hour and a half. I have a good walk. I've done something for my business. I've done something for myself.
Totally.
And it's just, and you're right. And it's not being at the gym, but you've moved well for an hour and a half in your day. Yeah. And she's found such a good way to tie that into something that is going to make her more productive at work too. And I was like, that is fantastic. Just movement.
Yeah, and these conversations are always great. One of the things that I always say is that you need to have the follow-up. You need to have the tools or resources to go to after this, because you might hear something and say, hey, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna change something here. But tell us a little bit about, obviously, getting the book, but you also have something that you're gonna offer for CIR.
Yeah. We have a little download page where I've provided a holistic nutrition guide, 61 healthy recipes, little ebook that we put together. You can download the entire first section of the Fitness Curveball, and it talks about getting all into it. Doesn't go into every single all four of the pillars in detail. Yeah. But it's that first section to see if you like it or not.
Cool.
If you want to, hey, well, the ebook's 50% off right now, so
awesome.
Do that. Yeah.
And Kelly,
for you guys.
Yes, thank you. So Kelly's going to go on and post up that link for you guys, so you guys can get involved. I really encourage you, again, this is coming on the heels of our fitness challenge, and the next step is always like, okay, how do I keep this going? It was nice again to have that little burst, have some fun, get aware of some of my habits, but now it's taking steps in your lifestyle overall. You got to continue on with this. And Tim, your background, your information that you've given is so good here. So I encourage everyone, and we're going to pick up a copy too, and probably 2 copies. We have our own, and then and we're going to go through the book as well.
I want to ask you kind of one closing question, and I don't know if this is something, but do you do? I'm assuming you do personal coaching and personal training, or that's what Fresh Fitness does.
Yeah.
I know that as part of our fitness challenge, we had quite a few people who literally just had no idea what to do and really did need some coaching. So obviously kind of now you know somebody, if that's something that you want to continue your journey with. Fresh Fitness, check them out. Obviously Lindsay's worked personally with them in the past, so huge recommendation. It'd be a great fit for you guys. And if this is something that you've been thinking about and you're having a really hard time with, I know for many people you've literally been thinking about trying to do what we've been talking about for 10 years and you haven't been able to do it. I loved what you said about, you're sacrificing your health to be wealthy now, but later in life you're going to be sacrificing your wealth to get healthy later, which is a big fit for real estate, because I know that everybody's very busy and money is tough, but you are in a stressful environment and that's high and that's not good for you. So if this has been hard for you, take control of your life, get some help, even if it's just for a month or 2. It's your life, right? Like, people are dying young and dying sick all of the time, and it's true. It's true. It's not funny.
I know. It's very
really
true. It's very true. It's
right. And sometimes you just need to realize, like, I don't want to be 55 and having a heart attack because I chose to not take control of my health because I didn't know how and I didn't have the resources. So I think that's really serious. So if that's you, try and get some help, and you'd be a great resource for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tim, outstanding. Great job, and thank you so much. You guys take advantage of the resources. Get involved, like Kirsten said. It is so true. I was laughing because it just went it's like, you need to go now.
You do.
But you do need to go.
You are getting beaten after this meeting. It's hard. It's like hard.
Awesome. Tim, as always.
Thank you very much for having me. Honored to be here.
We're going to be back with Zoltan Patter talking about private lending. Talk to you guys in a bit.